So I love to think of Thailand like pre, post, and then during Thailand. So pre-Thailand was a huge blessing because it taught me how loved I am. It taught me how much God wanted to provide for me, how much He wanted me to trust in Him and lean on Him and all of these things, and how I saw how many people saw hope in me or faith in me and trust in me through the love that I want to give. It was just a huge humbling experience that somebody like me could be invested in. Somebody like me, people see the love that I want to give and believe in it and want to invest in that. So post or pre-Thailand really gave me that opportunity to see how much God wanted to share His love, to share His desire to know me. You know, my desire to know what love looks like outside of my own head. You giving me money, that was honoring. People finding money for me, people just letting me serve them so that I can serve others. So I didn't realize I had expectations from Thailand until I was in Thailand. My expectation was to be a missionary. My expectation was to love on people, was to be able to experience what that looks like outside of America, to do ministry to people who need to know God, need to know themselves more. You know, my huge heart, my heart is to be part of people and encourage others to find themselves, to find their identity, to know who they are, to know how human it is to be alive, not only just physically and mentally, but emotionally and spiritually, to know all of what it means to be human, not just a person who's a human calculator or a working body, but an actual human being that has emotions and a soul that needs to be thriving under other people's love. And you know, that was my expectation, because I thought that was like a given expectation as a missionary, as a group of people whose desire is not to travel but to love people who need to be loved on. Like, we had a coffee shop that people would just come to and learn English. So Envision has this coffee shop, and just Thais come and have coffee there, and we just have conversations with them. And then not only, we don't just use the coffee shop though, we just use that as a vehicle to go further with other people. And then just people we randomly meet, we invite them to do things with us, and then they end up doing things with us. So it wasn't just with the coffee shop, we did events that we invited university students to go to. And that was the thing. We would do life with them with food, like lunch and dinner, and then do community. That's what we're selling, is community. And then through that community, we're giving an opportunity for them to know what the love that we give looks like, to know more, go deep in that. And I'm just really intense. And every conversation I had, I would talk about love. I would talk about how good it is, how much we should be using it more, how loosely the word love should be used instead of being afraid of hearing that word once. And so, just because I know the word God is a lot more extreme than the word love to people. Like, oh, now this is a God conversation. It's like, no, this is something that we all understand, and that's love. We all understand love. We all know the concept of what love looks like. Let me show you what that looks like to me. And if you want more questions, I can tell you that it's my Father, it's my God, it's my everything, you know? Really just pushing what love looks like. We had a lot of people come and just accept us and be accepted by us. It was really cool. The biggest thing for me, and just why I think Thailand has been so life-changing for me, is because so 3 years ago when I became a Christian, I was just really angry at God. It's like, God, I want to love you. I want to know you. I want to know myself. I want people to know all of what I know through you. And I don't know what that looks like, God. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a leader. I want to be, all these good things that just make people, that I'm attracted to. Not just make people attracted to me, but I'm attracted to. Like a roaring lion, just giving the love that I was created to give. That was 3 years ago. And I'm in the shower, and what God told me was, do what you do best, and I'll give you the rest through the process. And I knew what I do best were a lot of things. I knew how to create relationships. I knew how to be a student. I knew how to seek the right questions, how to seek the right answers. And so through that process, this 3-year process of just trusting God and all of that, God has just been, and listening to his heart too. I was in Thailand, and I was doing all those things that I wanted to be. I had wisdom. I had a role that created impact. Like if I wasn't there, it would have been a different atmosphere. It would have been a different team. I was cultivating my team to love and be loved and accept love. And desire to do that more. I wasn't the only vessel, but I was part of that. We had our coordinators doing the same thing. We had 3 of my other teammates just constantly trying to pour into each other. And so it was this capacity of understanding that I was in a place where God led me to, that I wanted to be at. And so it was life-changing because there's still more to process. Like, what else did you give me, God? What else did you show me that I wanted to know, that you wanted me to know, you want me to know right now? It's just good. It was amazing. And like infinitely blessed to have that experience as my first experience. So many things that made me come alive that I didn't know would make me come alive. Things that I would just not like doing, like walking aimlessly and eventually finding somebody to love on. Like that was the goal, was just to walk aimlessly, and then to see that God was actually giving me a path to love on somebody through all of that. So yeah, Thailand really opened my eyes to how much wisdom I have, how much I love to teach, how much I love to speak, how much I love to be with myself, be with God with myself. I always thought that I had to do all these things, figure everything out in community, figure everything out with groups. But I don't love to be alone, but I love that I get a lot out of being alone. I'm learning a lot about what it looks like to be alive through that in ministry as a giver and not just as a receiver. But being a giver, you're alone. You're alone a lot as a giver. Receiving, there are people around you. But when it comes to serving God, there are just a lot of times where you're alone in that, where your desire is not everybody else's desire. Your heart is not everybody else's heart, because God wired you to give love in a different capacity than others, or in a different way. Our talents, our motivations, our passions, and yeah. So it's been really good. Thailand really opened my eyes to that. How easy it is to love. Really, that's really what it is that I learned. How easy it is to love. How easy it is to give love, but also how hard it is to not get anything back from anybody else but God. Like, to accept that, because I'm human. I have expectations of receiving more. From people, exactly. So then post-Thailand, right? Post-Thailand changes my life, because I saw that was my desire, was that expectation of receiving more from others. And getting into this groove back into God, and reminding myself how good it is to rely on Him. How good it is to rely on a perfect God. To not be angry at a perfect God, but to be angry at a fallible world. And like not putting the blame on God, but putting the blame on how flawed we really are, and just exploring that and seeking more of what that looks like to me, not only just to God. Post Thailand is probably like my favorite thing about Thailand, because and probably the reason I would encourage people to do all parts of a mission trip, pre, present, and post. But post, I feel like, is the most life-changing piece, because then you see how never-ending it really is to be in love with God, to be in ministry, to be a giver. Like, I receive so many benefits of people texting me how much they're thankful for what not only I did but my team has done, and then people in my team texting me on how much love I've been able to give them, and how much realization I've been able to give them. Like, not even directly too. Some of them just indirectly posting things about me, and it humbles me. It humbles me to see how normal it is for me to be that person, but how good it is because they see God in all of that, not me in all of that. You know, I'm just being used through the love that God has given me. The ability to just give love, and I'm still processing through that, and it's gonna be an endless process of what it looks like to be a servant. I'm still struggling on giving. I'm alone in that, and it's okay. I love going to church 4 times a week and just discovering more of myself. I love ministering into people and seeing how much God is still using me, even though I'm still in a broken place. Yeah, like, thank you. Thank you for investing in me. Thank you for letting God choose me, believing that God is choosing me to be in love with Him in a new place, to discover myself in a new place. Not even a new place, but just to discover myself. You've invested in me so that I could discover myself more. Not just to like love on people, but just for me to know what it looks like for me to love on people. Going deeper into that, not just at a surface level. You believe that was something that God wanted me to know. You believe that was something that God wanted me to pursue. It's humbling. It really is.